Dear Edit, today I effed up. Last night, my wife's boss from her brand new job invited us over for dinner. On the drive over, my wife reiterated many times to me just how important it was to make a good impression. I scoffed and arrogantly informed my silly wife that I always make good impressions. My wife's boss is a single lady in her 50s, so it was just the three of us. We chit-chatted over drinks and salads and seemed to really be hitting it off. She laughed at my well-timed, perfectly appropriate jokes and my wife seemed pleased. Soon she brought out the main course, a nice big juicy steak for each of us. As I began to cut into my steak, I was discouraged to discover how undercooked this steak was. Now, I've had my fair share of rare steak. I prefer medium, but I can handle rare. This was several minutes on a hot grill short of rare. I probably cold resuscitated the cow had I tried. Instead, I sat there fidgeting with my knife and fork, worrying about how I was going to get away with not eating this steak. Claim veganism? No, I'd already feigned great enthusiasm upon seeing the steak. Just then, our hostess excused herself to the kitchen to take care of some dessert preparations. As I looked across the fancy dining room table at the open window of this third-story apartment, a cartoon light bulb appeared over my head. I knew I had to be decisive, realizing that she could return at any moment. I committed. I grabbed the steak with my hand, gently shook off the juice, and executed a perfect throw right through the center of the open window. Here's the big time foo. The window wasn't open. It was the cleanest freaking window you've ever seen in your life. That is, until my mostly raw slab of steak slammed up against it and slowly slid down, leaving a trail of bloody juice in its wake. My wife, whose steak was a nice medium rare and was unaware of my predicament, turned, jaw dropped, and stared at me like I was an alien from another planet. This look then slowly morphed into more of a "there is no place on this planet you can ever hide from me" expression of demonic anger. My wife's boss heard the thud of the steak on window impact and came quickly. She took in the scene, the steak sitting on the windowsill, the blood trail, my empty plate, and then gave me an inquisitive, puzzled look. I just didn't know what to say. It felt like a minute of silence, but was probably 3 or 4 seconds. Finally, the best I could manage was "I'm so sorry. I'm such a klutz. I don't know. I was just cutting it, and it slipped. Just ask my wife. I really am a klutz, right honey? No help coming from that direction. I will clean this up. I can't believe this. I'm so sorry etc. etc." Both women continued to stare at me like I had escaped from the loony bin as I smeared the blood around the window with my cloth napkin, dusted off the steak, and continued to mutter my incoherent explanation. I knew no one was buying the story. I knew what I had to do. I sheepishly returned to my seat and proceeded to eat every bite of that disgusting, cold, chewy, bloody raw steak. I remained pretty quiet the rest of the evening. My wife's only 2 words to me since the incident are "I'm fine. TL, doctor," tried to sneakily throw my undercooked steak through an open window, only to find out it wasn't open. Edit. Thanks kind Redditors. Update. In the same post. Just got the first post "I'm fine" communication from my wife, via text, who is at work. Good news. My boss and I just had a good laugh over how much of a fucking idiot you are. I hope you know you will never live this down. Love you, you moron. One question opus. Let's say the window was open and the steak is gone. She returns a minute later. What, you just tell her you devoured it? And then she finds a weird outdoor steak outside sometime. Or maybe bears. No. The trick is to grab the steak from the yard on your way back to the car, and then cook it at home. It's times like this when you should just fake a seizure. If life has taught me anything, never take advice from Reddit. Problem is, Reddit is your life. You should have grilled the steak under the pretense that you were killing off any germs it might have picked up on the floor. Apostrophe. Damn it. That's a good idea. Now you know exactly what to do the next time you encounter a rare steak. Step 1. Ask yourself, what is more important? Your dignity or the chance to enjoy the steak, one of man's finest sustenance to your liking? If dignity, go to step 5 and stay there. If steak, good choice. Proceed to next step. Step 2. Drop it by accident. Hulling and closed window optional. Step 3. Apologize profusely and feign lack of motor skills. Step 4. Wash with cold water and claim it must be recooked to kill germs and reheat. Optional, if steak not well seasoned in the first place. Proceed to bust out your portable culinary toolset and ingredients and turn that sorry piece of shit into divine slab of heavenly mouthfeels. Step 5. Step 6. Feed your manhood. I read this in the voice of Ron Swanson. I take it this was intentional? No, it was not, but that is the perfect person to hear it from. You go full Gordon Ramsay and shout, what the fuck is this? This steak is so raw it's eating the fucking salad. Rare? A skilled vet could save it. You fucking twat. This has to be an episode of Seinfeld. Reminds me when Jerry hid mutton in his jacket and the dogs chased Elaine. This is exactly the episode I was thinking of. The marble rye on the fishing line came to mind as well. They didn't forget to put it out. It's deliberate. Deliberate. I tell ya. All you had to do was ask if she could cook it for a little longer. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But hey, look on the bright side, you'll have a funny story to tell to all your friends for years to come. At the bar, after meeting with your divorce lawyer. What exactly was your endgame here? Were you planning to sneak back onto her property late at night to remove the steak? Or were you just hoping that she'd see it and think she got a visit from the steak fairy? Op was probably high as a kite and didn't really think it through. My wife's only 2 words to me since the incident are, I'm fine. The only reason I believe this story is because of that statement. I just love the thought process. Op sees the window, and in that instant he thinks to himself, I fucking got this. I'm a fucking genius. This has to be the best Tifa post I've ever read. I'm honestly in tears. The imagery is just perfect. It's honestly the funniest thing I've read on here for years. Couldn't read it for the tears in my eyes. I was doing the same thing. It took me longer than it should have to finish it. After having finished it, I read it a few more times with the same amount of laughter. Even thinking about it now I can't stop sniggering. This will make me laugh whenever I happen to remember it for years to come. All I could imagine was your wife's face after you said I'm really a klutz. Right, honey? Got me in tears. Brilliant story, sir. I'm actually crying real tears in my cubicle because this is easily one of the funniest things I've read in a long time. Excellent storytelling. Op 10/10ths would cry again. I read that as crying real tears in my crucible and thought, wow, that really does represent cubicle life. Is /r/Destineth the game leaking? No. /r/RuneScape is leaking. Just kidding. Crucible in RS was dead content on day 1. No way. No one could be that dumb. You have to be Peter Griffin or some sort of sitcom character. What did you plan on saying after you threw the steak out the window and just sat there with a suddenly empty plate? No way. No one could be that dumb. Someone can always be that dumb. That's the first thing you learn in it. You work in it. Great, I have this problem. My computer keeps getting an error and shuts down. I know. You normally want to come see the computer yourself, but this is just a quick thing. I'm sure you can do it over Reddit because you are so amazing with computers. The error. I don't know what it said. I just close it because it's annoying. Look, I'm going to step out for lunch. So why don't you come in and take a look? I know it's your holiday, but this will only take a few minutes. I'm sure your brother won't mind if you step out for 10 minutes. Weddings can be pretty boring. You are probably glad to get away from it, lol. Anyway, I urgently need it done so I can send the urgent reports away urgently today. Your email was really long. I didn't read it. There's no need to email me stuff. I just need you to come in and fix my computer. Oh, you already fixed it? I didn't notice, lol. I haven't looked at my computer since last week. I just printed the report on a different computer. Stop, please. It's too real, and I'm off the clock. You should have said I'm so sorry. I saw a spider on the window and I totally panicked. Oh my goodness. And then cooked the steak a bit more in case there are spider germs on it. Apostrophe. This is actually a great idea. Relevant fucking username, if I ever saw one. I laughed so hard reading this in the waiting room of the VA, I'm afraid they're about to send me to psych. with a name like defenestrate me now. I guess it shouldn't be surprising that you went for the window. Steak on my plate. So bloody and red. Like my soul filled with hate. So dark and so dead. Tried to defenestrate. Down the window it bled. Now my marriage is doomed, I'm fine. All she said. Looks like the window of opportunity wasn't open at all. I burst out laughing like a total loon when I read the window wasn't open. Loonier than a $1 coin. I tell ya. This can't be a real story. How would you explain how quickly you ate the steak? Why not just say you prefer it cooked a little more or something? Maybe there was a reason Op's wife was so worried about first impressions.